Hey everyone, welcome to Retaliatory Strike. Today we have a game between myself, Ryan, playing Cygnar, and Chris, playing Cryx. I just want to take a moment to ask everyone to give the channel a like and follow or a subscription. And if you can share it and help us reach out and more people that might be looking to get some Warmachine content. Thanks.
Hi everybody, my name's Chris. Today I'm playing Aiakos 2 in Cryx. So he's running Kharybdis and 2 Slayers and has the Withershadow Combine helping him out. I also have Gatsby 4 Asphyxious the Sanctified, who's running 2 Mules. And then there's a unit of Ironmongers, a min unit of Mechanithralls with 3 Brute Thralls to do some ambushing. I paid for a Warwitch Siren, and then I took a free Hellslinger Phantom and 3 Necrotechs. So the idea behind the list is that Aiakos is gonna throw his jacks way up the table. They all threat very far under his feet, and still quite far with just a sail. And they're cheap, and the Slayers are cheap enough to throw away. Kharybdis is real good, especially with his favorite captain, and they're gonna get out of there. Then Gatsby's gonna have the 2 mules in the back running backup. They're gonna pump shots into things and hopefully get a few crit devastates, and then when they gotta get work done, they'll get some work done. That's basically the list. Let's see how it does.
Hey everyone, I'm Ryan. Today I am running Haley 2 again. I have updated the list a little bit, taking out one of my Stormcallers there, 3 Stormcallers. So I've decided to play the list again and tweak it a little bit because I had the rules mistakes with a temporal acceleration in it, and it just wasn't a super great showing for the list, so I wanted to see if I could make a few little tweaks and try it out again and see if it's a little bit better. So it's Haley 2 in Storm Division. So I got Haley with a Centurion, a Firefly, and Squire. For solos, I have Strangewayes, Throne, a Journeyman Warcaster with a Hunter on him, Laddermore, a Stormblade Captain, the 3 Stormsmith Stormcallers, a minimum unit of Field Mechaniks, a minimum unit of Lancers, a minimum unit of Infantry, and the Storm Strider. So the idea behind this is I wanted to put the Firefly in there and get my lightning damage hitting just a little bit harder. I felt like that would be a better option than having the second Hunter if I can't do multiple temporal accelerations. And then I have Throne there, so then he can give Stir the Blood to the Lances, so then they're going to hit even harder than in the other list. So hopefully that will help me out in this game.
Cryx deployment. Alright, so I got some rough terrain spots to deal with. I probably want Aiakos to be behind that wall because he wants to be forward, but also wants to not die to Ryan's shooting. Kharybdis gonna go into that water because he's got Pathfinder, and he's pretty much everything in the list that has Pathfinder. I put the mules close to him because Ryan's list also doesn't have a whole ton of Pathfinder, so maybe I can abuse that. The Slayers are gonna kind of shoot for gaps, or maybe go behind the wall. They like cover, and the Pathfinder objective does let them charge over the wall. Gatsby's gonna go in behind some of that rough terrain, maybe stay safe, maybe threaten something. All the support stuff's gonna filter in. I am trying to leave room for my Necrotechs to actually run up because they're only speed 5, so they're a little slow.
Alright, for my deployment, I am going to put Haley in the middle with the Stormguard going down in the underneath her there. I figure I'm going to run them and try to get them into that middle trench to help them not die. And then I'm going to put the Stormstrider up across from that rubble because it doesn't care about the rough terrain. I put the Firefly with him, and I start spreading out the Stormcallers along the line. And then I start looking at Chris's list, and I really don't want the Stormstrider across from the two mules to get shot off, so I decide to switch the Stormguard there, and I figure with Throne being able to give them Pathfinder, they can get into the rubble and get a similar effect that they would have got from the trench. I put the Hunter where he's still in the Journeyman's control range. I am putting the Journeyman up top so he can put Arcane Shield onto the Lances. Then the Lances, Laddermore, Throne's gonna get stuck up there, and then I'm just rearranging my models to make sure that I can do what I want with them there. So the Firefly's on the very bottom, the Mechaniks and Strangewayes in behind the Strider, and the Centurion just above the Strider there. And I took the healing objective.
Cryx, turn 1. Alright, so we're all deployed. Ryan's given me a couple things to consider. I'm a little worried about those Storm Lances because they're the only things that kind of compete with my threat range. I'm not super worried about that Storm Strider, even though it can also thread a long ways, just because all my jacks have Kharybdis. But I'm gotta get this Necrotech out of my way. I'm gonna throw Kharybdis up forward. I'm gonna move up some mules. My plan is to hopefully Ryan's gonna put those Storm Lances close to the edge so I can tie them up with a bunch of Mechanithralls. He's probably gonna shoot some damage into my jacks, and I'm gonna hopefully be able to heal that with my Necrotechs. The middle Slayer's not in range of that wall, so I don't get cover, which sucks, but it's fine. He's gonna get a sail on him, and he is in range for the objective to give him Pathfinder. The other Slayer's gonna be backup for him, and maybe have a charge lane around the wall. Kharybdis got Dark Shroud when Aiakos activated, and I'm gonna try and keep Gaspy fairly central.
Cygnar, turn 1. Alright, so turn 1, as per usual, is just a lot of running. But I want to make sure I'm checking to see if I can get my Stormstrider to shoot at this Stalker that he put fairly far forward. And with Temporal Acceleration, it will work. So I go with Haley first. I put up Temporal Acceleration. I put up Force Field. Not that it's going to help me that much. Maybe if a mule misses a shot, and then she just walks up behind the objective. I have Throne give out Pathfinder and then walk up beside her there. I get 2 of the Stormguard into that rubble, and the rest just filter in behind there. I have the Journeyman put out Arcane Shield and then walk up more into the center there with Haley. And here I am measuring out my 14 inches. So I walk up to just within 14. I dial up my tokens. I get 2 tokens. And I start shooting at the Slayer. I missed the first one, hit the second one. I'm boosting damage. So I'm getting in pretty good there. It's POW 15 to their 21, so it's dice off 6. And then it's jumping and doing damage to other models in behind there, so it's great for me. I hit the second one, boost damage, and you can see on the grid there It's like 3/4 dead now, so that's a good activation for me there. I have the Centurion put up Polarity Shield and then just runs. And then I run a Hunter up into the trench there, and then I move up the Firefly to just in front of the Stalker. I then run the Lancers up the side there with Laddermore in behind, and then I just I move up the Stormcallers, Squire, my Mechaniks, and Strangewayes runs.
Cryx, turn 2. Okay, so Ryan shot up more than I expected of the Slayer, and of course the Electro Leaps, which I kind of forgot about, took out the Necrotech that was going to fix him up. So I got a Slayer there who's not going to be doing a ton. Fortunately, all I lost was his movement, so he's still very effective, and I don't have to give him Pathfinder, because I can just feat, and he can walk 9 inches and punch at a Hunter who's 10 inches away. But what else are we gonna do? We're gonna put out some focus. Gaspy's gonna give one to one mule and 2 to the other mule, because I got a Warwitch Siren who's gonna make it so they're both fully fueled. And this other Slayer, I'm gonna check his threat range. He's not actually in range of anything, so I don't know what he's gonna do. I put my Ironmongers up quite far, so I'm gonna throw curse on something and get the mules more accurate. But I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do a bunch of planning and thinking, because I kind of forgot about how Cygnar just fries all your support models if you're not careful. But this is definitely going to be feat turn. I just have to figure out where Aiakos is going to end up and hopefully not die. That Necrotech wants to be out front. I want to be able to collect a bunch of scrap tokens and make scrap thralls eventually. The Withershadow Combine's going, and Tremulous is going to put Puppet Master on, I believe, Aiakos for this one. And Malevolus throws a White Squall at that Hunter and misses because Hunter in a trench. Edmonia doesn't do anything, but that's just because that's where I put her. Yes, I did give Puppet Master to Aiakos. I want to deadweight that Centurion and hopefully not have to deal with it right away. The Ironmongers are going up. They're going to curse the Stormlances. And I'm putting a shot into one, and it clears it off because POW 15 gunshots are pretty good. It's not something Cryx has a whole lot of access to normally. And the other one, I shoot the Centurion with the second shot, and I kill a support guy there. Might as well soften it up because armor 21 is quite durable, and even though I'm playing Cryx, I don't have access to as many debuffs as a lot of Cryx casters. So Aiakos goes, and I get the deadweight, and then he jumps in behind the wall so that he hopefully doesn't just melt to a Stormstrider, because he is very squishy for a caster that wants to be up. The Slayer's gonna go. It's gonna combo strike and clear off most of a Hunter. My other Slayer doesn't actually have anywhere to go. He couldn't charge that the other Slayer can't charge the Hunter because there's a wall in the way. He's out of range to charge the the Storm Strider, he's actually out of range to charge that Lancer as well, so he's just gonna go up behind the wall and hopefully not get shot to death. My Kharybdis is kind of trying to figure out where he wants to go. I think about sending him forward, but I don't really want him to die just yet. And I do forget that I have deadweighted the Centurion, so I don't really have to worry about it as much this turn, but I probably could have been more aggressive. But the Mechanothralls are going. 2 Brute Thralls charged Laddermore in her back and ended up base to base, so that even if she's dismounted, they can still punch at her. And 1 Brute Thrall charged the Lancer. I can't really fit in behind it because the back is up against the wall. And 1 Mechanothrall charged that Stormlance, I guess. But the Brute Thrall kills the Stormlance. The 2 Brute Thralls, the first one I believe misses, and the second one hits and dismounts her and then misses. So I'm with Kharybdis. I've decided I'm just gonna spray a few of these Stormguard, and I might as well put up a cloud to help protect something, because you can hide behind clouds, and Kharybdis has stealth while in the water because he's amphibious and has prowl. So the cloud's not doing anything for him, but it might protect the mules or Gatsby or something else that's important. Gatsby's gonna go and keep his boys up, just have them threaten some Stormguard and maybe get some souls on him. And my Hellslinger is going to a place where he can walk and Swift Hunter on the flag.
Cygnar, turn 2. Alright, so I lost a little bit more of my lances than I was hoping for. I just didn't visualize the ambush threat range very well here. So everything powers up. I upkeep Arcane Shield on the 1 lance that's remaining. I upkeep Force Field here. And then I am looking to see if my objective can repair the Hunter. It can't, so I'll put some repair into the Centurion. And then I decide to put 1 focus onto the Centurion. My idea here was I can use Hele to TK so even though that he is dead weighted, I can TK the Centurion into combat with that Slayer, and then I don't have to worry about the dead weight because he can just forfeit movement and just start attacking. Up top there, I have my Stormblade Captain charge the 1 Brute Thrall, and I believe I rolled like a 1-1-2 for damage on it, so it's didn't do as much as I was hoping it would as a Weapon Master. So I have Laddermore turn around, she finishes off the 1 Brute Thrall, and it bounces into one of the Mechanothralls and clears them off there. And now I send my Lancer in, so he's going to do an impact on the 1 Mechanothrall, finishes the charge, does his assault shot into the 1 Mechanothrall, which removes him, and then I redirect my charge attack into the other one, which also removes him. So he's had a pretty good activation, and then I'm setting him up to charge down towards that flag next turn. Here I move up Throne. I am giving the Pathfinder to my Stormguard, and then he does his Execration Pistol on one of Gatsby's little servitors. I run both of my Stormcallers up to be scoring the flags there. I want to make a bit of a push on objective. I charge the Slayer with my Firefly. I don't believe I do much damage, if any. I move up Strangewayes to get him up there because I'm going to need some repairs on the Hunter. And I'm still planning on doing the telekinesis play, so I empower the Centurion instead of repair him. So Kharybdis is stealthed, and then we looked at it, and the Stormcallers get to ignore stealth. So he asked if I wanted to move it back, but I decided I want to be up there to contest that flag anyways. So he shoots at Kharybdis, and he hits, but I don't believe he does any damage. So now I'm sending my Stormguard in, so we decide that 2 of them can get on Kharybdis. The other 2 are charging the Ironmonger up top there. So the 2 charge in on Kharybdis and they hit. And I believe they get a little bit of damage into them. Nothing to write home about. But I am getting my Electro Leaps. And I was just checking to see if they would get the extra damage from the Firefly. So lots of dice rolling here with that. So I have the 1 remove the 1 node, which is great, and then and between the node getting removed or the servitor and that, I do remove that Ironmonger. So now I will be scoring 3 points this turn, which will be great. And then from that was just my leader model doing his quick work shot, which removes the 3rd servitor. So Expicius 4 will have less servitors to work with. And then I was looking at Haley's card and I saw Domination, and I thought that would be a fun trick to try. So I move up, I boost to hit, I hit, I walk him back. He can go real far, 7 inches. And then I attack at, I believe, Aiakos or the Necrotech, and I don't end up killing anyone. And then I was about to end my activation and go on to the Hunter, and Chris was nice enough to let me do my feat, which I obviously wanted to do. So I put tokens on both Slayers, Aiakos, both Mules, Kharybdis, and Expicius. I did get 6 tokens this turn. And I moved up to within 10 with my Stormstrider, which I had also temporal accelerated, so I'm going to get 3 shots, but I only rolled 1 token this turn. And I start shooting him into the turned around Slayer, thinking that I can use it to bounce electricity off of, and it's dice off 6, so I'm not boosting damage or anything because I'm wanting to try to not kill him so I can keep bouncing, and I'm getting bounces into Aiakos here, which he's within 5 of the Firefly, so he's taking a bit of damage there at least. And I believe I boost the last damage roll into the Slayer, and I failed to kill it, so that Slayer has taken a lot of beating now, but is still alive. So then I go with my Centurion and I put up Polarity Field, and because I'm dead weighted, I walk up. So he camped 2 focus this turn. I used my Journeyman and I hand cannoned and boosted to hit one of the Mechathralls over on the side there. I get him, and that's my turn.
Cryx, turn 3. Alright, so I got 1 more Slayer than I expected to have. That's a bonus. That Centurion isn't really scaring me as much now, because I can get something on it. Although the Slayer behind the wall still can't charge because he's out of 4 inches of that objective because I didn't plan very well when I put him there. Ryan is scoring a bunch, which is making me nervous, but I should be able to keep him from scoring this turn, even though I'm not confident that I can score as much myself. But let's see what we can do. Kharybdis is still gonna have Scything Touch on him. I upkeep it for free because Ammonia is still kicking around. I'm gonna start up with the Mechanothralls. The leader Mechanothrall is gonna walk and punch a Stormlance in the back, and the Brute and the other Mechanothrall are gonna duel with Laddermore, and nothing really happens there. I think I do hit the Stormlance, but I don't break armor because it's not charging, and they have Unyielding and Arcane Shield on them, which makes them quite durable. So now the Withershadow are going, and they're going to try and pick up a couple souls. I'm going to Puppet Master Aiakos again because I want to keep that Centurion locked down, and the less he can activate, the better. Gaspy's going to go here, and he just wants to send his Servitor in to get the soul, and is positioned to be sort of safe. Keep threatening things with him, because he can definitely kill pretty much anything. He's killed most of an Archangel on his own, so and his jacks are getting a focus on him still, but I am worried that he's gonna get shot a bunch or charged by something. The Ironmonger, the remaining one, is going to charge one of the Stormguard, mostly so I can get Curse on the Centurion, because let's put some damage in on it. I do actually get that Necrotech. Did get that Necrotech on the Wounded Slayer. And I healed it for 5, which is 4 more than Ryan did damage to it last turn. So he's okay. And he walks up and he clobbers on the Centurion. The Hellslinger charges in, and because he's got Gunfighter, and he kills the Storm guy there. And then he Swift Hunters and shoots the Centurion. I actually may have cheated there. I don't think that I could do my second initial at full range 10. So it's up to you to comment and tell me I'm bad and should have lost. Anyways, so now Ryan's not going to score any more than I am, and I am going to score that flag, so let's do a little catch up.
Cygnar, turn 3. Alright, so I lost my Centurion. I definitely should have put him in the trench about a half-inch back, and the mules would have had a lot harder time to actually hit him. From here, I drop Force Field. It's not coming up. I give 1 to my Firefly because I'm wanting him to go and try and remove the solo off the bottom flag there. So then he can stop scoring there, and if nothing else, he will go and contest. Here I do a repair. I use my objective to repair the Hunter again. I am going with Laddermore to finish clearing out these Mechanothralls. So I hit, it bounces. kills them. There is 2 left in the unit. I believe 1 Brute Thrall and there, and that clears him out. And then I use Gabriel Throne to charge the one tying up the Lancer, give the Lancer tough, and then he's gonna repo. And then I have the Stormblade Captain there. Here I have the Lancer. He is charging past the Servitor, so he doesn't impact. And then I'm charging the Ironmonger here, and I make sure that when I end my charge, I'm in Laddermore's Veteran Leader range, so he effectively removes the Ironmonger. So now I can get back to scoring this flag. So I run the Stormblade Captain up to score that flag. And then here, I'm trying to decide what to do with Haley, and I think part of my issue is she has so much stuff she can do, and I just wanted to try it out. So I was looking at Time Bomb, and I was thinking if I directly hit, then the AoE will also apply the debuff, and I didn't ask my opponent about it or anything. So I move up, and I'm Time Bombing at Asphyxious, and then which I end up hitting, doing a little bit, point or two of damage after he fades. And then that's when we realized, and then we did the math later, and even if it affected Kharybdis with his 4-inch reach, it doesn't really stop him from getting to where she is. What I should have done this turn was move her away, because I have Asphyxious and Kharybdis kind of in my face looking at Haley. But that's the way it goes sometimes. I used my Hunter and I shot at the Slayer, I believe. And now I'm using the Strider, so I charge the Slayer. I roll up 3 tokens this turn, I believe, which is leaving the Slayer alive for right now. But I start shooting, or there, I removed it with my first shot, and now I start shooting at the objective. I'm boosting damage into the objective so that it's got 4 boxes left after the first shot, which is now bouncing into Aiakos, and the second shot, same thing. I remove it, so I gain a point there, and it's bouncing into Aiakos as well. And then the 2 mules, not doing any damage to the mules. I move the Firefly over, and I take a shot at the solo, and I end up missing that attack, unfortunately. But he's contesting effectively, so he's probably not gonna get a whole bunch here. I move up Squire in behind Haley, and now I'm just trying to jam with these models. What I should have looked at it before and used the Firefly to jam, just giving up the point on that bottom side.
Cryx, turn 4. So Ryan made a bad play. This is his first game with Haley that I know of, so he wanted to use her toolkit and cast Time Bomb. It's just a shame that Time Bomb is a real bad spell, and also she kind of wants an arc node to get it out there. But that, so we spend quite a bit of time just chatting about things, and Time Bomb, it gives -2 speed and defense to models directly hit, which doesn't help, so Kharybdis is completely unaffected. Although, because Gatsby has leadership bloodthirst, it cancels out and it doesn't matter. But I don't really want to take a free strike, so I'm gonna kill a guy with something and then have that mule charge the Stormlance. He did give the Stormlance tough, but it didn't tough, so he tried throwing. I put out my servitor a little late, but it's not really impacting the game. It's just going to, if this was a tournament, it would keep Ryan from scoring. So Gaspy's charging Haley, and I boost to hit, and I do take a free strike from that Gobber, and it does nothing because it's a Gobber, but it tried. Boost to hit, and I miss, and then I buy and boost, and I miss, and I buy and boost again, I believe, and I miss. So, good job, Gaspy. You're saving Cygnar here. And I'm gonna poop out some scrap thralls, and I had 2 scrap tokens, one of which I noticed and one of which I didn't, and they're going to do things. This other scrap thrall is going, I'm gonna shoot him with a dark fire so that he explodes, which will probably kill that Gobber, and I don't really have to worry about the Gobber's defense 14 to do that. So now Kharybdis is gonna go, and he boosts to hit, and he does hit, and he clears off most of Haley, and then he boosts to hit, and that clears off the rest of Haley. So good game, Ryan. After action thoughts report. So this was the second time I played this list, and it's a lot of fun to play. Aiakos is not a great caster, but he's fast and he's mobile and he has great spells, which is fun to play around with. He's just real squishy, and haven't played against a ton of Cygnar, but I've played against enough to know that you gotta be afraid the whole time, because you might just die even if your caster isn't trying to be forward and trying to use his focus and has terrible stat line. But he is a lot of fun to play, and all of his spells are real good. So he combines kind of well with Asphyxia's 4, who just gives you another Warcaster basically, because Asphyxia's 4 is significantly more durable and has significantly more melee threat, and because he can get souls, he can actually have more focus than Aiakos can, although he's not as good at casting his nukes, his one nuke, which is super relevant. The Slayers are super flexible. I like them. They can hit hard when they need to. Carapace means that they can usually make it into combat unscathed, or at least functional. Although, as we saw today, that's not always the case. The mules are real good. Crit Devastate is alright, but when you have Curse to make them base rat 7, and you have Puppet Master to get the reroll, you can get a lot of extra throws in. I'm a little disappointed that that Malevolist didn't survive this game, so I couldn't just cast White Squall on things. Also, I keep mixing up Stranglehold and Deadweight, so if I say Deadweight, then I'm in Stranglehold this whole game. But I did manage to make the Centurion basically ineffective, although Ryan did measure out and see when he dominated the Slayer, he could have just TK'd his Centurion up and had it probably killed the Slayer, because POW dice +1 on its spear is significantly better than the dice off 6 from the Storm Strider gunshots. But I do feel like I played that Slayer well, even though he got beat up way worse than I had expected. I didn't tilt on that because, again, the Slayers aren't actually an important part of the list. They are kind of there just to die. So I feel really good about how I played that side of the table. I probably should have been more aggressive with Asphyxius. He's tough enough that he can kind of duel with... He could have probably survived the Stormguard. And if he starts eating souls, he can get really dangerous really fast. Other than that, I'm very happy with how I played. Like I said, this was Ryan's first time playing with Haley, and he gave me an opportunity to close it out. His scenario was way better than mine this game. I find it hard to play scenario against Cygnar oftentimes, just because they can shoot you if you get on the flag, and my list just doesn't have that many disposable solos unless I get scrap tokens. Which eventually I did, but it took a lot longer than I would have liked. But I had a lot of fun. I think Ryan had fun. Hopefully he invites me back, and I'll probably be playing something else because I feel like I've gotten enough out of this list. Give it a try if you play Cryx. It's a lot of fun.
After action report, Cygnar. So overall, I think this was actually a pretty decent game. I fell into my trap of seeing all the spells that Haley can do and all the different things that she can do and wanting to try them out, and then forgetting to ask about threat ranges and how some of the spells work, like talking it through to make sure that I knew that the spell was going to work the way I intended. Because when I sent Haley in, I was thinking the blast on Time Bomb would count. If it directly hits, the blast would also apply the debuff to Kharybdis. And then I was thinking I might be kind of safe if that happens. So I went for the play, and then we talked about it, and I was like, oh yeah, it's direct hit only, so the blast wouldn't actually apply it. And even if it did, we did the math afterwards with Asphyxius's Bloodlust or whatever he hands out to Jax. Even with the -2 defense or speed and going through a little bit of rough terrain, Kharybdis still could have got to Haley. So that was a mistake on my end. I feel like Haley isn't like my favorite caster just due to her play style of she's a lot more passive in the back, buffing stuff up, and then I feel like she really wants arc nodes. So if I was to play her again, I would probably be working in arc nodes into the list at this point, because about turn 3 or 4, I'm wanting my caster to get more involved in the game, and she doesn't have like a super intense personal threat herself. So in this game, on my last turn, I definitely, instead of going for some random play there, I should have backed her up and then used the Firefly to jam Kharybdis a little bit more, and maybe just forfeit another point on that one. I felt like I was doing decent on the scenario front, but to the point where giving up a point here or there wouldn't have lost me the game or anything, and then maybe I could have played a couple more rounds, and if he can't close out on the kill on my Strider right away, then I feel like I'm gonna start crunching into more important stuff, and I might be able to get the attrition back on track. But overall, I'm finding Haley is like a really interesting caster. Like there's a super deep toolbox there, and I feel like it's really comes online when you know exactly what to do and when to do it type thing. And with me, this is me just trying her out pretty much. If you would like to see more of her, let me know, and I'll try the other iterations as well at some point, or try to get them on the channel at least. But for now, I think I have my Haley 2 fixed, so unless there's people out there that are dying to see her on the channel, I'm probably gonna put her away for a little bit here. But overall, I feel like this game went a lot better than the last one for mistakes wise. But yeah, it was a fun game, and it was really cool seeing even through Kharybdis, I was able to, on turn 1 there, I was able to really crush into the one Slayer. So I feel like if he had been in another theme with all my shooting, I would have been in an even better spot there. And I do think lining my Storm Strider up across from the Mules might have been a better idea, because with temporal acceleration and everything, I might have been able to get a bunch of shots onto Asphyxious, because if I could have taken him down, then he needs to be moving his caster over to those Mules to reactivate them, and it gives me like a turn of breathing room there, because I don't know what it is about Asphyxious 4 where I have just a crazy hard time dealing with him. I don't know if it's just a mental block of Asphyxious 4 is a really good model, or if it's just me not understanding how to really deal with him. But like, unless I can get like pretty decent heavy onto him or something, I usually can't take him off the board, which frustrates me, especially when he's giving like all the jacks +2 to charging on living models, which wasn't super relevant this game, but like the threat ranges between Asphyxius's Bloodthirst, Aiakos's Feet, and like all the other ones, like it was a pretty long threat range. If any of you would like to see any specific matchups on the channel, or specific casters or factions, let us know. We're still trying to get one of the guys from my group has a bunch of Retribution. We are trying to get him onto the channel still, or see if we can borrow models and just get a game of Retribution onto the channel at least, even if it's not a different player. If you give the channel a like and a share and a subscription, that would be awesome. Our overall goal is to hopefully one day, when people ask about Warmachine content, have Retaliatory Strike be one of the recommended channels to watch. So if you have anything that you think could use improvement, or that you would like to see changed about the channel, let us know, and we'll take it under advisement. So yeah, we hope you liked the video, and thanks for watching Retaliatory Strike.